UFC, that's undefeated Don Fry. Then two newcomers square off, both kickboxers, Scott Fiedler of Pacific, Missouri, Brian Johnston of San Jose, California. In what should be a terrific matchup, Mark Coleman knocks head with Moti Horenstein. Coleman, a former All-America wrestler. Horenstein, the three-time Israeli karate champion. And we finish the quarterfinals with pure power as John Campatella meets UFC 8 runner-up Gary Big Daddy Goodrich. Well, as you hardcore fans already know, we are online on CompuServe, so come join us in the CompuServe Convention Center. And for those of you joining us online, a special treat tonight. A little bit later on, the Beast will be joining us live. That's right, Dan Severn will be right here, and he'll be answering your questions. Well, here are the laws of the Octagon. No biting, no eye gouging, and no fish hooking. The referee has the authority to restart the bout if there is a lack of action. No rounds, but a 12-minute time limit with 1 3-minute overtime in the quarters and the semis. A 15-minute time limit with 2 3-minute overtime sessions in the final. Here are the ways to win a fight tonight: by knockout, by submission, which is tapping the mat with your hand or foot. If the corner throws in a towel, if the referee stops the contest because a fighter cannot intelligently defend himself, by disqualification, or if time expires, 3 judges will render a decision. Now let's meet our 3 judges working tonight's UFC. Steve Neclia, a former Marine Corps boxer, now living in San Diego, California, columnist for a major martial arts magazine, Tung Soo Do, black belt. Michael D. Pasquale Jr., D. Pasquale Jiu-Jitsu, Rivervale, New Jersey, publisher and editor, Karate International magazine. And our 3rd judge this evening is Mark Denny from Hermosa Beach, California, co-founder of the stick fighting clan, the Dog Brothers, head instructor, Dog Brothers Martial Arts. And our referee, certainly no stranger to UFC fans, Big John McCarthy from Corona, California, a tactical instructor at the Los Angeles Police Academy. He's working his 10th UFC, a former jiu-jitsu competitor who has officiated over 60 no-rules fights. There's our chief medical advisor, Dr. Richard Istergel. He's from Howard Beach, New York. He's on the advisory council of the WBC. Dr. Joel Cooperman, he's a board-certified specialist in musculoskeletal injuries. And our 3rd member of our medical team, Dr. Stephen Goodman, plastic surgeon, Schenectady, New York, a member of the U.S. Olympic Sports Medicine Society. And there's the man they call the cut man for the UFC, the likable Leon Tabbs. He hails from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Been around the fight game for 30 years. He's worked with Bone Crusher Smith, Jerry the Bull Martin, Evander the Real Deal Holyfield. Now, the UFC sanctioning body is the IFC, the International Fighting Council. Its commissioner is Art Davey of Las Vegas, Nevada, former sergeant in the Marine Corps. He saw his first mixed martial arts competition back in 1969 in a Bangkok nightclub. He's got the look of a commissioner, too. Here's our first matchup of the night. It's Mark Hall against Don the Predator Fry. Both guys have been in the UFC. Of course, Fry is undefeated. He's 4-0. And Mark Hall comes off that super victory over Koji Katao, the 400-pound sumo wrestler. So he's coming in with a bit of confidence, but he's got a tall task here. The tail of the tape for this first quarterfinal bout. Mark Hall, Muay Do is his discipline, 4th-degree black belt. Donnie Fry, Greco-Roman wrestler. Hall comes in. He's 35 years of age. Fry is 30. You can see Fry with the weight advantage. Not much difference in height. One from California and one is from Arizona. Mark Hall, first man making his way to the octagon tonight. From Murrieta, California, in his 4th UFC with a record of 3-1. Mark Hall, a teacher at a 6,000 square foot martial arts school, Muay Do and Street Combat Applications Training Center in Murrieta, California, managed by Jerry Dupuy.
Hall, a tremendous athlete. You saw him take out Katao in the last one. Big man, 340, 360 pounds, and he took him out with a shot to the nose that broke the Japanese sumo wrestler and his hopes of making success here at the UFC. Hall, Mo-Ye-Do, he's a tactician. He's a real thinker when he goes out there. He's a great striker, and he likes to hide his ground skills. He has jiu-jitsu experience. He will be able to defend himself if he goes down, and he's capable of striking with more than his hands.
And, Jeff, a word that's not up there.
Jerry, you take
fearless.
care of the fighter, got it?
Without a doubt, he will stand out there and go with whoever is in front of him, whether big, little, mean, or whatever.
Well, let's have Mark Hall, as the Rolling Stones would say, introduce himself.
I believe I've proven my martial art abilities with a record of 3-1 in the octagon. My only loss to Paul Varlins, whom I know I can beat with a rematch. I'm here to do honor to my Dojin M World Grandmaster Tiger Yang in UFC 10.
Mark Hall, he is ready, but then again, he's always ready. Here comes a man that many consider the best all-around fighter in the UFC. The Predator, Don Frye, from Sierra Vista, Arizona. 4-0 in the UFC. UFC 8 champion in UFC 9, which was a bout format. He won his match convincingly. 700-plus victories in freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestling.
He has a good background from Arizona State and Oklahoma State in grappling, and what shocked us all was his striking ability. Tremendous hand speed, tremendous power in very short punches. Has some pro boxing experience. He is a good grappler, though we haven't seen him fight on the ground yet. It says prefers a stand-up fight, but he's somebody that gets angry when he hears that. He says he can fight on the ground, and he will hit you while he's on the ground.
All right, let's find out about Don Frye's approach to UFC 10.
I'm Don Frye, returning Ultimate Fighting Champion. I'm not here to prove my skills. I know what I can do. I'm not here to say hi to anybody. I'm not at rest. I am not at peace. I have a real bad attitude. And when I go into the octagon, lock up your women and children, because all hell is going to break loose.
Well, the Tom Selleck lookalike says he likes to retain his anger. He does not want to go into the octagon happy.
No, he's somebody that wants to go in there with an attitude. He said his dog was killed in an accident, and he used that to motivate himself.
All right, we're set for the formal introductions, and right now let's go to Bruce Buffer.
SCG Sports Corporation welcomes you to the State Fair Arena in Birmingham, Alabama, for the greatest martial arts competition in the world, the Ultimate Fighting Championship number 10. 8 of the world's toughest fighters will walk into this octagon tonight. 3 veterans, 5 challengers, and only 1 will emerge victorious. Tonight, there are no weight classes, no rounds, and no timeouts. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? For the Ultimate Fighting Championship number 10. Our first bout of the evening. Please welcome back to the octagon a veteran of UFC number 7, the Ultimate, and UFC 9. He's a 4th-degree black belt in the art of Mu-Ye-Do, with black belts in Taekwondo and American Karate. He's got a UFC record of 3-1. He's 35 years old, 6 feet, 189 pounds, fighting out of Murrieta, California. The one, the only, Mark Hall! And to my right, standing at 6 feet, 1 inch tall, and weighing in at 214 pounds. He's 30 years old, a Greco-Roman wrestler with a 2nd-degree black belt in the art of judo. Fighting out of Sierra Vista, Arizona, he's undefeated in the octagon. Please welcome the defending Ultimate Fighting Champion, the Predator, Don Frye.
All right, look out. When Don Fry is ready to rock, anything can happen in the octagon. He's fast and he's furious. Don't blink. The Predator against fearless Mark Hall.
And Hall did catch him with a reverse kick.
A body slam by Fry.
Fry with a beautiful takedown put Hall on his back. But Hall came out and caught the Predator with a kick to the midsection. And the Predator is now taking away pieces of Hall's midsection.
Oh my, he's got the best punching ability maybe in the UFC.
He's trying to pass that guard now. If he can clear his right leg, he'll be in a position to really go after Mark Hall.
The Predator grabs both legs of Hall. Hall hanging tough. Trying to fight back, but not much doing there.
Full guard
goes
position.
Back to the body.
Full guard position there now. Now we'll see what Fry can do against someone that does have good experience with going ahead and working the guard.
Hall's giving away 25 pounds. And Fry is known as the wrestler. He's an Arizona State wrestler for 4 years, Oklahoma State for another. Won the Las Vegas qualifier, Greco-Roman and freestyle wrestling, but he can punch too.
Short, crisp punches.
A little bit of a headbutt.
Those aren't really going to do a lot of damage.
Oh, that stuff eats at your body for a while, Jeff.
Takes time. You have to accumulate those, but those aren't the big, heavy shots. Not what we're accustomed to from Don Fry.
He's going to the solar plexus again, though. Chopping at the kidney. And Mark Hall putting up some resistance, trying to throw a punch or so, but he's just being outhandled physically.
You can see marks on the side of Mark Hall now. You were right that the accumulation of those short shots will add up to damage.
Hall punching back, a headbutt from Fry.
Work him, Mark, work him.
Indication of how, even though they're short punches, how much power Fry does have in them. His boxing skills are very good, especially when you combine them with how lethal he is as a grappler. And Hall fighting back.
Fry trying to keep the reins on Mark Hall. We know that Mark can punch, and aggressively took out Koji Katal with 400 pounds. Again, chopping away at that body. And that does hurt.
I've always wondered if they get really high in the guard, in other words, he's up over his opponent's face, why can't he bring an elbow back and try to hit him in the thigh? And that really could cause a hematoma, a Charlie horse, if you will, and really reduce mobility. Right there. Bring it right back into that quad.
Come on, work it, Mark. Get out of there.
Again, it's Don Fry on top, using that left hand, chopping away at the midsection of Mark Hall.
If you put that elbow right at the bottom of the quad above the knee, that could really cause swelling.
That's a lot of punches Hall's taking, trying to use the foot as a weapon.
You can see those bruises already on the ribs.
Those punches are now a punch to the face.
That's just a chop, but it was effective.
Look out, another punch to the head by the Predator.
It is hard to believe that Hall is letting him hit that same side.
I don't think he can do much about it.
You hear that dull thunk, that hollow sound of him hitting those ribs.
And the mouthpiece is popped out. That's a sign of fatigue. I believe it was Hall's mouthpiece. Predator, it's a tricky role now because he's in the tournament, knows he's going to have to win 3 times in a night, doesn't want to exert too much power. But if he doesn't put him away, he figures, well, then he's going to have to go the full time limit.
That is correct. That is part of the tournament strategy here. You can go out, punch once in the head and miss and wind up breaking your ankle. You have to think beyond the one fight, even though if you don't win the fight, you can't advance. So it's a very delicate, fine line you walk.
Over 4 minutes in, it's been all Don Fry, the Predator.
And continues to be.
And you can see those bruises.
I don't want to sneeze if I'm him tomorrow. But Hall is fearless. You have to give him credit. He was unafraid. He was very composed. He isn't panicking here.
Fry is trying to figure out how to end this without exerting too much strength. And he goes back to that one area, which is really going to hurt in the morning.
Well, he hasn't really done anything to try to pass the guard yet. He hasn't tried to take his hips and move those legs around him.
Well, do you think it behooves him to try to make a move or not?
I wonder if it's a sign of whether or not he is really well-versed against an experienced UFC fighter in being able to pass the guard and being able to pass the test of the guard. This seems to be the wrestler's one shortcoming, is being able to beat the guard.
Don continues to work. He's a guy with the speed of a middleweight, the strength of a heavyweight. That makes for double trouble.
You got to believe Don Fry's right arm is getting a little bit tired by now.
Back to the solar plexus, Jeff.
Racking up big points here.
It's actually closer to the middle of the rib cage, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I don't think Hall's got much energy left, and I don't know if he doesn't make a move here soon. Referee John McCarthy is either going to have a restart or he might end the fight.
As long as Fry stays active like this, the referee probably won't do anything. It's when you just lay there that he's going to stop it and bring you up to your feet.
Hall with a slight flurry. 12-minute time limit. 1 3-minute OT in the quarters.
Perhaps he heard you. He seems to be becoming more active on bottom, trying to create openings for shots. Elbows and hands, even though he's not in a good position to put power behind him, he is still nonetheless trying to get some offense going. And if Fry gets him bucked up against that octagon fence, once again he'll be in a position where he can't move because he's bound up by Fry's body and the fence. And if Fry can time his release to create distance, he can get a couple shots in. But look at that set of ribs, Bruce.
Mark's only loss in the UFC is to Paul Varlin's, a big man. Again, here he's giving away weight and also giving away power. He's still working that leg. Here's the medal of Mark Hall. But I just think he's outmatched here physically.
Well, the Predator so far has impressed people with his ability, most of all with his versatility and adaptability once he gets into the octagon. But a real good fight being put up by Mark Hall. He is not going to go away easy.
Hall now with his head up against the fence. Predator, same area, punching to the same part of the body.
It's an effective tactic. Even if he's not going to do damage, he realizes by being busy, I keep him right here.
Now he tries to go to the head. He scored a couple times there. And referee John McCarthy looking over towards the corner of Mark Hall. Wants Jerry Dupuis to see the damage that's being done by Fry.
Get out of there!
The corner does have the option to throw that towel in.
4 minutes, John, 4 minutes.
Oh, a good job here. He spent some time on his back. He is not letting Fry have one clean shot at his head. However, he is giving up his body. He is accepting the trade of not getting hit in the head for getting hit in the body.
Fry continues to work, though. He has not relaxed at all. Couple of headbutts there.
In this heat, you can see the lacquer of sweat on both bodies here. Makes it very difficult to get a good, clean bite.
Oh, punch to the head, another punch to the head by Fry.
And here's an opportunity. This is where the fence works
Hall
against.
threw a punch up, but he got nailed again.
There's the elbow. I was wondering when Fry would try to use that.
3 minutes to go in regulation. Jerry Dupuis got a close hand on that towel in Hall's corner. I don't know how much more punishment he's going to allow.
Those ribs are just looking as though they're bleeding. They're so black and blue. But not one of those punches has caused Hall. But it's not one of those punches has caused Hall to really even waver. But what they are doing is they are making a real hematoma on those ribs.
Oh, punch upstairs. I don't know. He's dominating. Jerry Dupuis got that towel up a little bit higher.
You need to quit.
Fry continues to punch away.
He can.
And Hall continues to fight gallantly. He is not going to go away, not with his ribs. Unless Hall can break a rib, I don't think you're going to see Mark Hall want to submit out of this or even begin to tap out. His corner may feel it's a hopeless situation, but Hall is not going to give up.
But in the UFC, Jeff, there is balance.
Oh, absolutely. And out. You heard Fry say that he respects anyone who walks through that door of the octagon.
Fry has worked very hard on finishing, and referee John McCarthy steps in there. And I believe, is he ended it, or is he restarting it?
And I think that might be it.
I think that's it.
I think that's going to be it.
I don't think he can allow him to take any more punishment. John wants the doctor to take a look. He wants the doctor to take a look, Dr. Richard Istrigo.
Hall is not looking like a warrior at the moment. He seems to be feeling the pain, and I think that's going to do it.
That's going to be it. Even though he doesn't want to stop, he's got such tremendous courage, but there's no question that
the Predator
is one-sided.
Ladies and gentlemen,
came out and took a bite out of his side.
The winner of our first bout, Don Fry.
Oh, look at that embrace, the mutual respect. Great competitor, Mark Hall, but he was just out-handled by the power of Fry. And I think a good stoppage.
Oh, great call by John McCarthy. You don't see Mark Hall really complaining. And at the very beginning, this was the one good kick that Hall got in, and it caught Fry, but Fry immediately got in, looked like he was going to body lock him, and just slammed him to his back, and then started that relentless punching.
Jeff, he was talking about a secret weapon yesterday. That might have been it, right?
He might have thought that he could sneak one right in the midsection and take Fry out if he hits him in the solar plexus, but he ended up on his back, and the Predator took bites out of his side with those short, choppy punches.
Hey, it's the number one guy.
So the Predator remains undefeated, 5-0 in the UFC. And his corner, Dan Severn, Steve Owen, Becky Levi. She's the strength and conditioning coach. She's going to be fighting in Japan, I understand.
She has signed a contract to fight in Japan, shoot fighting. And she was a world medalist in weightlifting, powerlifting, and Fry retained her to go ahead and train him in the power discipline. And it's at her gym that Fry travels to 2 hours a day to train in Tucson, Arizona.
All right, Jeff, let's get ready for our next bout in the main draw, our second quarterfinal of the evening. And it will be two newcomers to the UFC, both strikers. Scott Fiedler against Brian Johnston. Fiedler from Missouri, Johnston is from California. Let's take a look at how these two match up for this UFC 10 quarterfinal bout. As you see, both kickboxers. Fiedler 3 years older. He's got a 13-pound advantage. Both are big customers at 6'4". One is from Mizzou and one from California. Scott Fiedler will be the first man to head to the octagon. He's 10-1 in amateur kickboxing matches, 5-0 in pro boxing matches. A black belt in Kempo Karate, a black belt in Ishin-Ryu Karate. Youngest of 6 kids, learned to defend himself pretty well over the years. At age 17, started training with 2-time Golden Gloves super heavyweight champ Donnie Brown. Then went into the Marine Corps right out of school. Did some boxing smokers there. Following an honorable discharge, he started karate and did about 6 different styles.
Fiedler, his pro boxing experience, we'll see what kind of punching power he has. This is his first time in. Being a kickboxer, he can use his elbows and knees effectively. Says he has limited grappling experience, but says he can strike on the ground. So look for him to have trouble if he gets caught in the guard. Not so much him mounted, but on his back.
Scott Fiedler's approach to his first UFC. He shared thoughts with us earlier.
Hi, I'm Scotty Fiedler. I'm from Pacific, Missouri. I'm glad to be here at the UFC 10. I'm looking forward to giving all you fans a treat. Hope I don't let anybody down, and I think you're going to like what you see once I step in the octagon.
And here comes his opponent, Brian Johnston from San Jose, California. 12-0 as an amateur kickboxer. Currently the Northern California Golden Glove super heavyweight champion. His style, well, He says he has to be totally well-rounded and a package. He said Bruce Lee coined a phrase of having no way as a way. That makes sense to me, says Johnston.
Well, without a doubt it does. In other words, if you go in there with just one game plan, that is not the effective way to approach fighting. And as every one of these fighters come in, you hear these new kinds of names. And these new names are hybrids and mixes of different disciplines. Kickboxing, he says he's an experienced grappler, spent a lot of time wrestling, so look for him to be good on the ground. A Golden Gloves champion in California. He's got to have some good punching power and limited bare-knuckle experience, but this is his first time in here as well as Fiedler, and let's see how these two meet up.
Brian Johnston, his debut in the UFC.
Hi, my name is Brian Johnston. I'm from San Jose, California. I didn't come here to talk tonight, came to fight.
Well, it was Michael Buffer who was last night in Madison Square Garden in that wild scene in the Bo Galata fight. With us tonight, the other Buffer, Bruce Buffer. Let's go to Bruce for the introduction.
Our second bout of the evening starts off to my left with a kickboxer with black belts in Kenpo and Isshin-Ryu Karate. He has a kickboxing record of 10-1, 7 by knockout, and a pro boxing record of 5-0, 5 by knockout. He's 29 years old, standing 6 feet 4 inches tall, and weighing in at 235 pounds. Fighting out of Pacific, Missouri, let's welcome Scotty Fiedler. And to my right, a kickboxer with a record of 12-0 in amateur competition. He holds a black belt in judo and is the reigning Northern California Golden Gloves Super Heavyweight Champion. He's 26 years old, standing 6 feet 4 inches tall, and weighing in at 222 pounds. Fighting out of San Jose, California, let's welcome Brian Johnston.
So Johnston in the red, white, and blue trunks. Fiedler in the black trunks. Big John McCarthy will start things up.
This what you came before. You ready?
Winner of this.
Are you
Now
ready?
the unenviable
Let's get it
task of
on.
meeting Don Fry in the semis. Two newcomers. What can we expect?
Well, there's a beautiful throw by Johnston on Fiedler, and he's going to do it again. Almost got it again. There it was. He's using a trip to take out the outside leg.
Johnston takes him down again. Now Fiedler rolls with him.
Looking for a submission on that knee.
Johnston's got the knee.
Nothing yet. Nothing yet. But an interesting, this looks more like a wrestling match right now. More than one that we've ever seen before. No strikes being thrown. Just looking to try and go ahead and get position. And this is what we call a crab ride in wrestling right here. Look at that choke. Fiedler's almost got a choke on Johnston.
Fiedler on the bottom, trying to avoid the choke. Johnston on the top, see what he can do with his back to Fiedler.
Keep working. It's good. Keep working.
Turning out of that crab ride a little bit up against the octagon.
Keep working.
And the toes. Watch the toes into the fence there as he tries to use it for leverage. So Johnston's got that left foot clinging to the octagon wall.
Go. Keep it working. Come on.
And Fiedler's doing what he should do. When your opponent's back is to you, you should go for the choke. And he's doing an excellent job of stretching Johnston out.
Fiedler is an iron worker.
He must have been a leg rider in wrestling. Look at him. He's up high over his opponent, both legs in, and now he's looking to go ahead and deliver some shots.
And he's punching right to the back of Johnston's head.
What we used to do here is called shake him off. You want to raise your backside as high as you can and shake the opponent off the top in front. This would really put Fiedler in a vulnerable position as well.
Good. Come on. Let's move
Well,
out
two
here. Come on.
kickboxers, and what do we have? We've got a grappling match.
Who would have thought this? Both have wrestling experience, though. But I would have thought Johnston would have had a little bit more.
Good work.
Now Fiedler gets his right hand free through a punch. Johnston breaks free. Johnston trying to get to the mount position. Lands a punch to Fiedler.
Now look for him to choke.
Another punch to the side of the head.
He He's approaching it like a wrestling match. This isn't what Fiedler wants to do, and he's definitely cut. There's some blood there.
John McCarthy steps in. Johnston was pounding at the back of Fiedler's head. He's upset.
Good job. Come here.
But Johnston landed too many good punches. Oh, Brian Johnston looks like an impressive newcomer.
Well, Johnston got caught for a while in a leg ride and looked as though Fiedler might have an opportunity to choke him out, but once he turned it around, the end was very quick and swift.
Well, you know, from age 12 to 22, Johnston was a freestyle wrestler. Then he learned judo at age 22 and decided he wanted to be a pro kickboxer. He went and trained with Xavier Mendez, who was world champion at the time, searched him out and found out, and he learned.
Double overhook to a leg trip there. Beautiful throw by Johnston, but unable to follow it up, so it's almost wasted. And here trying the same exact move again, cutting out that outside leg, causing the rotation over. That was right on top of Fiedler's head, but the big advantage coming out of this is Fiedler got on top. They struggle here. Johnston looking to get that leg lock, but unable to get it, and this is when Johnston took control. And this is when finally Johnston shook that high rider off, got around behind, and once he got behind, the end was very swift.
So Brian Johnston advances, 2:27 the time as the referee stops the contest. And so it will be Fry and Johnston in a semifinal bout. Should be an interesting one, too. So our first bout went 10+ minutes, and our second one 2 minutes and 27 seconds. And the UFCs, as we've seen unfolded, have gotten longer in length each match. Here's our next matchup. Mark Coleman against Moti Horenstein. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for this upcoming bout. It's our third quarterfinal. Coleman, a wrestler, and a good one. Two-time All-American. Horenstein, survival is his discipline. Basically a full-contact karate guy. These are two tough newcomers and two very impressive ones at that, but very different in their approaches. Here comes Mark Coleman, 1988 NCAA champion out of Ohio State, a Buckeye. A two-time Pan Am Games gold medalist. Olympic team member in '92. And he's working with, guess who? Richard Hamilton, who has been with Fry and Severin along the way.
Well, Coleman is rugged. He's a big guy. He's a world-class wrestler. He tried out for this year's Olympic team and failed to make it. He wants to go to the ground, and once he gets there, he wants to strike. He has limited bare-knuckle experience in the octagon. The rumor on the street is he's had plenty of brawls.
Well, let's find out how Mark Coleman is taking things into account as he enters his first UFC.
I'm Mark Coleman. I represent the sport of freestyle wrestling. I plan to bring the UFC title back to Columbus, Ohio.
Mark Coleman's opponent, a different breed of fighter. Moti Horenstein from Spring Valley, New York, and he was born in Tel Aviv, Israel. Our first Israeli fighter. His discipline is survival. And recently, he was the Team USA Shidokan Tournament heavyweight champion in Chicago in April. Three-time Israeli karate champion. He can punch, he's got good power. Served 3 years in the Israeli military. He worked with the special forces and he taught self-defense. He works out with his brother Demore.
Horenstein, another good-looking guy, big guy, 240 pounds. He calls it survival, but again, this is a hybrid form of martial art combining many elements. Lifelong martial artist, military experience, so he was trained in special forces. He does fight on a regular basis, bare knuckle in karate tournaments, and he's a stand-up fighter. So this is a classic matchup between a striker and a grappler.
Let's meet Moti Horenstein.
Hi, my name is Moti Horenstein. I'm doing martial arts for a long time. From Survivor Center, we're doing everything for Survive. I'd like to say hi to my friends and students in Survival Center in Rockland County, Spring Valley. I'd like to say hi to my friends in Deer Mountain Camp. And I'm here to get the belt and survive.
Well, he has been in martial arts since age 5. He was influenced by Bruce Lee movies. For the formal introductions, let's go up to Bruce Buffer.
We'll begin our next bout with the fighter to my left, a freestyle wrestler, a 2-time Pan American and National Freestyle Champion, and a World Games silver medalist and a 1992 Olympic team member. He's 31 years old, standing 6 feet 1 inches tall, and weighing in at 245 pounds. Please welcome from Columbus, Ohio, fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona, Mark Coleman. And to my right, a 4th-degree black belt in the survival fighting system. He's also ranked in Kyokushin Karate, U.S. Oyama World Heavyweight, and American Shotokan Heavyweight. He's also a 3-time Israeli Karate Champion. Fighting out of Spring Valley, New York, via Ra'anana, Israel, he's 31 years old, 6 feet 2 inches tall, and weighing in at 230 pounds. Please welcome Mo T. Horenstein.
Well, Horenstein to me looks like a bigger version of Jean-Claude Van Damme.
He certainly does. He certainly does. And it's going to be interesting to look at this kind of matchup. Even when you look at their heroes, they're absolutely polar in their disciplines. For Mark Coleman, it was Dave Schultz, who was earlier gunned down this year, Olympic champion. Mo-T Horenstein, Bruce Lee. So there you have their differences right away, striking and grappling.
And Coleman considered one of the best wrestlers in the world. We saw what Mark Schultz did in his debut in the UFC. Let's see what Coleman does.
It's Horenstein coming after him, deflects that first double.
Coleman takes him down.
And we're in the guard here.
A big punch by Coleman to the face of Horenstein. Mo-T covering up. And Mo-T trying to roll out of there. Didn't want that face wide open. Coleman with the elbow to the back.
Horenstein here might be overpowered. Coleman very tough here. He's just not going to let Horenstein go. He'll be able to keep him down.
Horenstein good on his feet. Also adept on the ground, but probably not in the same class as Coleman.
Certainly not when it comes to winning a wrestling duel between who's going to get the takedown. Coleman got the takedown.
Coleman has shown us a little bit of everything.
And Coleman now is thinking, this was the worry I had about a wrestler coming in and just coming out and just going nuts and not getting what he wants and suddenly being burned out and frustrated. He's now taking his time. They're right in front of Richard Hamilton, his trainer. He can take direction, and if he wants to, take a blow by getting close to his opponent, breathe, separate, and go ahead and start striking again.
Right hand by Coleman. You saw him triple up that right hand before, and not many guys know that who aren't in boxing. Well, Richard Hamilton's been very successful in the UFC. Got another one here in Coleman. Trained out of Grand Canyon.
We've seen a lot of these fighters now turn their back on their opponent. I can't believe they're doing it. Coleman better be careful. He circles towards the head, and he might find himself catching a knee. He's past the guard. He's past the guard. Now he wants to mount. Now he wants to mount. He wants to get his right knee over the top and sit right down on his opponent's lap.
Had a side mount position momentarily. Now Coleman looking to try to unleash the right hand. Not too much damage there.
Glancing.
Right.
Close, but glancing.
Horenstein might be best off here trying to get back to his feet.
That's what you want to do when you pass the guard, is use every weapon as it comes to bear. If he concentrates on your hands, bring your knee up.
Choke, choke, choke!
Horenstein using those legs. He's got very good kicking ability. But somewhat neutralized when you're in that type of defensive posture.
Well, he's elbowing what appears to be Coleman's right thigh. Oh,
right hand to the head. Coleman, a couple of bombs to Horenstein. And that ended it. Big John McCarthy said no more. Modi is okay. Coleman, wow, he's got to be calmed down. He didn't even want to stop.
Well, he's a little excited. First time in there, break the ice. He'll calm down.
And now he gets a big hug from Modi Horenstein.
And returns the hug. And he returns the hug.
Very nice.
Let's have a big hand for our winner, Mark Coleman.
Punches to the head were the big story there.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big hand to our other
Coleman
fighter.
passes his first test in the octagon. A lot of people who are familiar with the UFC said that they look for a Fry-Coleman showdown in the finals. Coleman on top. What you want to do is get separation, and when you get the right separation and can time it, follow it with the punch, and there it was. 1, 2, and at this point he's defenseless when he covers up. Good job by John McCarthy.
Even though he missed the third punch, John said enough.
Oh, when he covers up like that, that's not a defense. That's a, hey, please, no more. Right there. It's almost as though he should have tapped out.
You know, you really can't, though. You got to protect yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. McCarthy, a great job there. You could see the punching power of Coleman when it's on a direct line.
2:43 the time, so Mark Coleman is victorious. And he, as you said, passes his first test. Wanted to share with you how the times have changed. In our first UFC, it was 1:37, the average length of a match. And by the 7th UFC, it had swelled to 5:08. So that pattern has been continuing all the way up here to UFC 10.
And that's nothing but evolution, Bruce. As these fighters learn what mixed martial arts is all about, they start to retain the basics of the guard, how to protect yourself when on the ground.
Here's our next bout. Final one of the quarterfinals. John Campatella against Gary Big Daddy Goodrich. And there's some muscles. There's some muscles in this one.
This has got to be the combined biggest bicep fight in the world.
Here's the tale, 263 to 235. So that's almost a quarter ton in the ring in the octagon tonight. One from Ontario, one from New York. Let's meet our first competitor in this bout, John Campatella. Staten Island, New York, second-degree black belt in Vadha Kempo Karate. He teaches at 2 American Vadha Kempo schools. He's a high school biology teacher at Lincoln High School in Brooklyn, New York. He's completing his master's at Staten Island College. He's been in martial arts for 12 years.
And he is one strong, physical-looking specimen. Former wrestler, limited bare-knuckle experience. If he's as good in wrestling as his background indicates, it's probably going to come down to a ground battle.
All right, let's find out a little bit more about the man whose name is John Campatella.
Okay, I'm John Campatella from Staten Island, New York. I practice American Vada Kempo. Waited a long time to test my skills in the octagon. I finally have my chance. I'm looking forward to the competition.
Well, he says it's all about showing what is effective in a fighting system. That's what the UFC is all about, and I want to show how a lot of that fits into what we do in Vadha Kempo Karate.
His trainer is Frank Barone, instructor Professor John Salvaggio.
Let's meet his opponent, the Big Daddy Gary Goodrich. He's from Barrie, Ontario. The 93 Canadian Amateur Super Heavyweight Boxing Champion. He was the runner-up in UFC 8. He's 2-2 in the octagon. He lost to Mark Schultz when the referee stopped the contest prior to OT in UFC 9 in a bout fight card. Arm wrestler, 15 years. Once put down 1,000 men in a row in 2 hours in Japan. He's got experience that Campatella does not have.
Exactly, and we've seen that as a huge advantage in here, knowing exactly what you're going to run into and knowing how to deal with the nerves surrounding entering the octagon and dealing with fighters away from the octagon.
Here's a look at Big Daddy's martial arts cross-training style.
Power over technique. He's somebody that wants to use what God-given power he has, and he's got punches. Limited ground skills, though he does know the guard. He's a knockout puncher, and we saw with devastating effect what he can do with his elbows. He will strike on the ground.
You know what? Big Daddy has been accused of a lot of things. Nice guy trying to be mean guy trying to be nice. You decide for yourself. Tough talk's over. It's time to get nasty.
So here at the Alabama State Fair Arena in Birmingham, Alabama, we're ready for our fourth quarterfinal bout of the evening. Bruce Buffer to lead us through.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for our last first round bout of the evening. Starting to my left, a second-degree black belt in the art of Badha Kempo. He's appearing for the first time in the octagon. He's 27 years old, 5 feet 9 inches tall, and weighing in at 235 pounds. He's fighting out of Staten Island, New York. Let's hear it for John Campatella. And to my right, standing at 6 feet 3 inches tall and weighing in at 263 pounds. He's 30 years old, a second-degree black belt in martial art cross training. He's a fourth-degree black belt in Kuk Sool Won, the 1993 Canadian amateur super heavyweight boxing champion, the UFC 8 runner-up, and he's 2-2 in UFC competition. You know him as the Big Daddy. His name is Gary Goodrich.
So it's Goodrich against Campatella. Campatella from well-known Lincoln High School in Brooklyn, New York, same high school that produced the likes of Lou Gossett Jr. and Marv Albert and Stefan Marbury.
Well, heroes for Campatella, Lee and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And for Goodrich, Martin Luther King.
Up against the back of the octagon wall. Goodrich.
Oh, fireman's carry.
Iron throw.
Nothing there.
Back to their feet. Quick knee by Campatella.
Uppercut.
Good right hand by Campatella.
This might be the first person in which Goodrich has felt somebody equally as powerful with the arms.
Another uppercut by Campatella. Oh, he punched to the back of the head. Now Goodrich winging his elbow out. Got a lot of brute force in there.
Unbelievable power between these two, particularly the upper body. Let's see how long Campatella can go, and Goodrich goes to the ground. He hooked it up and he pulled him right down, and he's probably going to test him here. Look for a submission, see how well versed Campatella is in trying to pass the guard.
So Goodrich in the guard. Let's see what Gary can do. He lost to Don Fry in the finals of UFC 8. Lost his bout 9, back for the third straight time.
Interesting, he's got his robe, the gi, the arm sleeves rolled up, which means he can't really use them as a grip with one hand to hold Campatella.
Nice move by Gary Big Daddy Goodrich.
Oh,
left hand. Another left hand. Look out, it's over. 3 left hands in a row by Big Daddy. And McCarthy stepped right in. A sudden reversal and a surge of power from Big Daddy.
Wow. Well, that left eye looks pretty closed up already for Campatella. John McCarthy sticking by his call.
Gary Goodrich.
Crowd, I don't know if they're happy about this one.
They're not, because Campatella still is very much there physically, but you can see the damage to his left eye. It's nearly closed right now. And McCarthy thought those 2 unabated hard shots by Goodrich was the beginning of some real bad damage, and he ended it.
Here's another look at it.
Well, Campatella was on top. Goodrich had the guard on him. And somehow Goodrich was able to reverse that situation, which led to that final struggle. Campatella in. As soon as Goodrich put that underhook, he went for a fireman's carry here, a typical wrestling move. This is where Paul Herrera cuts some mean elbows. Campatella able to avoid it, get out. Goodrich able to get back to his feet. And then after the reversal, there was that first shot. Then there. And again, those were the 3-4 shots in a row, and McCarthy had seen enough, and there was some good damage to the left eye, stopped it from getting worse.
Another look, Jeff.
1. Clean shot in there, unabated. 2, 3, and 1 more for good measure, and that's when McCarthy said, hey, 4 in a row, good shots, that's enough.
And here's the Big Daddy's reaction. He had to work for it. He was in against a very, very strong guy. I think the first time he went in there against someone who had raw power similar to his own. But Goodrich advances. So we had 4 ref stops contests in the opening round. Wild action in the UFC. Let's take a look at what has transpired thus far tonight in the Alabama State Fair Arena in Birmingham. First it was Don the Predator Fry. Took him 10 minutes and 23 seconds before the ref stopped the contest in the bout against Mark Hall. Then Brian Johnston. He went 2:27 before the ref stopped it against Scotty Fiedler. Then it was Mark Coleman, 2:43 against Modi Horenstein. Again, McCarthy stepped in. And finally, Gary Goodrich taking the least amount of time. Short work of John Campatella, 1:27, and the ref stopped the contest there. Tank Abbott joins us now. Tank, nice to have you with us.
How you doing, Bruce?
Good, very good.
Tank, we got to ask you, we haven't seen you in some time since Puerto Rico. What happened down there?
Somebody got smart with me, and I had to lay the law down. I can't let people talk to me like that. Basically, it was a one-time thing. I kind of laughed it off later. If I would have took it further, I'm coming after your ass, and I'll knock on your front door and take care of you.
But, Tank, you have to have an ability in this thing to keep your head about you, or else you're not going to get a chance to fight.
Well, that's very true. So let's throw down some IQ points, and we'll see all these mental giants you have here, and we'll see who comes up on top.
Well, now that you're off your suspension, what are your plans? What do you want to do?
What do I want to do? Let me tell you something. When I count days, I'm counting days to get out of a cage. Now I'm counting days, 70 and running, to get back into a cage. And
are you saying you have signed to fight again?
I'm fighting September 20th unless another Art Davie situation arises. Basically, let's put it this way. You've seen Discovery Channel. You've seen some animals rip apart a gazelle. That's what's going to happen.
Well, what do you think of the fighters that you've seen here tonight? You've had a chance to observe all of them.
Absolutely some good cocktail fun. Drinking a few cocktails, watching the show.
How do you assess these fighters?
Nothing tickling me with a feather. I like how Fry all of a sudden does a return about face, and all of a sudden a tough guy wants to kill people. What's that about? I thought he was a nice guy. Looks like Tom Selleck to me.
Hey, Tank, we saw you, one of the few guys that smiled in the octagon looking out as you were enjoying putting some punishment on your opponent. Is that something we'll see from you again or no?
Well, that's the only reason why I'm in here. Let's put it this way. You only win a fight by hurting your opponent. I've never seen anybody do something to win a fight without hurting their opponent, and that's what fighting's about. It's to dominate the other person, and that's what I'm here to do.
But so much of martial arts is about honor and discipline and respect. What do you think of those words?
Well, that's for Don the Dragonfly Wilson, and let him go do. Where's he at? He's probably making a Godzilla voiceover that you'll see at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, he's making a lot of cash, Tank. Give him some credit.
Well, wow. You know what? That's the point. I'm not here to make cash. I'm here to do things.
Well, in a way, Tank, you are a walking contradiction. You appear to be undisciplined. You show no respect at all in honor or otherwise around
I
or
respect myself
in the octagon. Okay, that's good. And some people really feel that you don't train hard enough, that conditioning might be the only thing that holds you back. How would you respond to those?
Well, let's put it this way. You saw Glamrock and you saw Freddie Mercury look-alike or whatever. They fought for 27 minutes and they all hid behind a second clock of a hand. They didn't go out to fight. Let's put it this way. When I go in there, I'm not going out to win. I'm going out to fight.
You really do seem to thrive on that villain role. You really, and it seems that you once made a comment after a fight that, hey, the people in the bars need a person to cheer for too.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm not a villain. I'm just myself, and you can label me any way you want to. I don't wear a kimono, and I'm not from Brazil, and I'm just here.
Thank you, Tank. Thank you very much, and we can continue now with the show.
All right, it's Don Fry against Brian Johnston. Tank will stick with us for this semifinal match. It should be a good one. Johnston in his debut tonight was a victor in 227 over Scott Fiedler. Here's the tail of the tape. It's wrestling against kickboxing. 8-pound advantage for Johnston. He's also got a 3-inch height advantage, but he's up against the guy who's 5-0, still undefeated in the octagon, the Predator, Don Frye. Let's bring in the Fry Man, Don Frye, the Predator, who continues to roll. It took him 10:23 to put away Mark Hall in his opening bout. He's got a mean streak that runs 10 generations deep. Pennsylvania Dutch, Irish, Scottish, Cherokee warrior. A 3-time state champion in wrestling in high school. He sees himself as a combination of Marco Huas and Oleg Tektarov. Let's listen in to the Predator, Don Frye.
Same thing as before.
I'm Don Frye. My strategy for this next fight is exactly as the last one. I'm going to walk in there and I'm going to destroy this man.
You going to be up here? Okay.
Frye's opponent is Brian Johnston, the kickboxer who hails from San Jose, California. Almost took a match versus Oleg Tektarov as a last-minute substitute for Pat Smith, but the match never came to fruition. He's working with a guy named Mike Swain, who's this year's Olympic judo coach. I'll grapple or punch with anybody, says Johnston. He's working out with the San Jose State judo team. He compares his style to guess who? Don Frye. He's also working with trainer James Thompson, putting everything together, the kicks, the punches, the grappling.
Xavier Menendez is his other instructor and workout partner. Trains at the American Kickboxing Academy in San Jose, California.
All right, let's hear once again from Mr. Brian Johnston.
I feel that the combination of judo and kickboxing makes me a very versatile fighter, and I guess we'll find out when I fight my next opponent.